بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله خالق الخلق باسط الرزق فالق الإصباح ذي الجلال والإكرام والفضل والإنعام. الحمد لله الذي بعد فلا يرى وقرب فشهد النجوى تبارك وتعالى. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على حبيبك ومحمد حبيبك ونبيك وصفيك وخيرتك من خلقك وحافظ سرك ومبلغ رسالاتك، أفضل وأطيب وأطهر ما صليت على أحد من العالمين. وصل على أخيه ووصيه من بعده علي أمير المؤمنين. وصل على الصديقة الطاهرة فاطمة سيدة نساء العالمين. وصل على سبطي الرحمة وإمامي الهدى الحسن والحسين. وصل اللهم على أئمة المسلمين علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والخلف القائم الحجة المهدي. أرواحنا فداه، وعجل الله تعالى فرجه وسهل مخرجه وجعلنا من أنصاره والمقاتلين بين يديه بإذن الله.
على حب قائم آل محمد المهدي المنتظر، صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
My beloved brothers, my dear sisters, in the month of Rajab that we just entered 3 or 4 days ago, there are numerous occasions that we revere and we commemorate. One of those occasions is the birth of our 10th Imam, al-Imam Ali al-Hadi alayhi salam. That corresponds with the 2nd of Rajab. And his martyrdom that corresponds on the 3rd of Rajab, meaning the Imam alayhi salam was born on the 2nd day of Rajab in the year 2012, and he passed away on Rajab 3rd in the year 2047 Hijri. So his birth and his departure both took place in the month of Rajab. A great month of Allah. 212, the birth of the Imam. And his departure, 247. That's what I said. I'm sorry? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Sometime, you goof when... He was born in 212 and he passed away in 247 Hijri. The Imam was born in Medina and he passed away in Samarra, and Samarra is in Iraq right now. The Imam died while he was only 44 years maybe, not more than that. And though he didn't live a long life, but his very short life offers so many lessons and illuminates so many darkness in our life. One thing about our Imams, my dear brothers and sisters, all of the Imams, that they were always persecuted by others who looked at them with envy and hatred. And this is the result of usurpers, tyrants taking over. When a tyrant takes over, he knows this does not belong to him. He knows that this position does not belong to him. And what he does in order to consolidate power, he goes after rivals or potential rivals. Just as we see it right now in some Muslim countries, when someone is trying to pave his path to the royal palace, what he does, he goes after rivals and he puts them all in Ritz-Carlton. So they could be under check, so nobody can at all think of opposing this upcoming king. That's what they do. Another trait of those tyrants is that they are corrupt. They take over the Muslim treasury with all its assets and money and wealth, vast wealth, and they use it as their own treasury. They can take as much as they want. Nobody can ask them. Nobody can question them. Yesterday, I don't know if you noticed the video clip of President Trump welcoming a Muslim crown prince. As he was selling him those junk materials and tanks and weapons and getting rid of them from the American arsenal, each for 13 billion, 14 billion, God knows how much. What did he tell him? It's peanut to you. This shows that they realize that some of those rulers are corrupt. They take over the Muslim treasury. They use it as they please. Nobody can question them. So why Trump would not, squeeze money out of them? If those corrupt people are using their money unwisely, if this guy spends $500 million on one portrait, why don't I take his money? Why don't I take over his assets? Those are a bunch of reckless people who took over the treasury of Muslims and they don't know what to do with the money. Let us take their money. That's how Trump treats those idiots, unfortunately. And this is always the situation, my dear brothers and sisters, with those corrupt rulers. They are arrogant. They don't accept any word of advice from anybody. And instead of working on helping their nations, all they do, they indulge in corruption. They indulge in a loose life. And that's how they act and how they behave. And if there is anybody who can be viewed as a potential threat to their rule, they go after them. The Imam was summoned all the way from Medina to Samarra. Why? Because the tyrant of the time, named Al-Mutawakkil, he assigned many spies in Medina. You know those tyrannical rules, they always rely on spies, mukhabarat, who would send them reports on potential rivals. His spies wrote to him that, watch out from Ali al-Hadi, he could be a potential threat, because Muslims love him and they revere him. So he summons him to Samarra. The first thing he does for 3 days upon his arrival, in order to humiliate the Imam, what does he do? He asks the Imam to stay at a hotel called Khan al-Sa'alik. It's basically a homeless shelter. It's a homeless shelter. It's a shelter for homeless. In order to humiliate the Imam, he asked him to stay there for 3 days, thinking that this way he can break his morale. He can make him beg for, forgiveness. That did not affect the Imam at all. The Imam stayed there. Some of his friends and followers visited him at the shelter. They were crying to see their Imam is being made to stay in this very inappropriate place. The Imam says to them, don't worry, that's fine. Tomorrow we all will go underground. It doesn't matter where I stay in this life. In a palace or in a homeless shelter, it doesn't matter. And then he let the Imam go to his house. And the Imam in Samarra, being away from his family members, friends, all he does, he spends his time reciting Quran, worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and doing what he's supposed to do as a guide for all of humanity. A few days later, he wants to summon the Imam to his palace. He waits till midnight. He would not wait till the morning. He waits till midnight when the Imam is at home. He sends his troops to break into the house of the Imam. And for him, he thought the Imam will be now sitting with some friends conspiring against the government. The troops were shocked to find the Imam sitting on his sajjada, on his prayer rug, praying the midnight prayer, reciting Quran. That was the Imam was doing. They took the Imam to the palace of the Tyrant. And the Tyrant was having a party. Go read about al-Mutawakkil, my dear brothers and sisters. Read his lifestyle. This guy claimed to be the representative of the Prophet. And he calls himself Khalifa. And basically what the word Khalifa means, the successor of the Prophet. He called himself Amir al-Mu'mineen, the commander of faithful. But what do you get in his palace? This is exactly what historians say. He packed his palace with gays and lesbians. He brings singers to his palace. The party starts at midnight. At the time that the Imam starts his midnight prayer in his house, al-Mutawakkil, his party just starts at midnight. When it will be over by morning, he spends the whole night drinking and listening to singers and indulging in everything that is deemed as a sin in the eyes of Allah. This is the role model of Muslims. You will not wonder when you see some corrupt Muslim leaders today doing the same. Because who is their role model? Their role model is al-Mutawakkil. Their role model is Yazid. That's why you will not be surprised to see some of those contemporary rulers doing exactly the same. Indulging in every transgression. He brings the Imam into his chamber, and the chamber smells alcohol. The Imam is brought with force to that chamber. And imagine our holy Imam, who was just spending his time on his prayer rug, reciting Quran and performing his Salat al-Layl. Now he is brought by force to that very filthy chamber that smells alcohol and prostitution and everything immoral. The first thing he does, he pours some alcohol for the Imam, some wine, and he offers the Imam. What an insult to our Imam. Our Imam burst into tears. قال والله ما مست لحمي وجسدي. I've never touched it. I've never seen it before. I've never smelled it before. He asked the Imam to sing. Another insult. He asked the Imam to sing for him. He says, you see those singers lining up to sing for me? Why don't you sing? The Imam politely says, ما أنا بمغني. I'm not a singer. He said, fine. You don't want to drink with us? You don't want to sing? Then why don't you recite some poetry? The Imam says, yes, I will recite you some poetry. And now that was the moment the Imam alayhi salam deals the tyrant a big blow. He sends him a powerful message through the poetry he read. باتوا على قلل الأجبال تحرسهم غلب الرجال فلم تنفعهم القلل. You choose to build your palace on the top of the mountaintops, and you surround yourself with guards and police officers. Do that, but this will not help you for long. واستنزلوا بعد عز عن معاقلهم وأسكنوا حفرا يا بئس ما نزلوا. He says soon you will be taken out of your palace, away from all those guards and corrupt entourage, and you will be put in your grave. ناداهم صارخ من بعد دفنهم أين الأسرة والتيجان والحلل أين الوجوه التي كانت منعمة من دونها تضرب الأستار والكلل فأفصح القبر عنهم حين سألهم تلك الوجوه عليها الدود ينتقل. He says soon after you die, someone will be calling on you. Someone will be talking to you. What is your glory? What is your lure? What is your glamour? Where is your gold and silver and diamond? What happened to all of that glory you enjoyed in this life? But you will not be able to answer. Ya mutawakkil. Who's going to answer? Your rotten body will be answering when all worms will be swarming your body. When you become a feast for worms, that will be the time you will be able to answer. But then answer your Lord. That day you have to answer your Lord. Historians say when the Imam finished the poetry, فانفجر المتوكل بالبكاء حتى اخضلت لحيته بدموع عينيه. He started crying and crying and crying. His entire face was entrenched with tears from his eyes. But for how long? For a few minutes only. They come to their senses for a few minutes, but then طغيان, arrogance will take over them again. He goes back to his past life, to his corrupt past. And they never learn a lesson. They never learn the lesson that look at those tyrants before us. What happened to them? They are gone. They are no longer in charge. Those tyrants, once in power, they think it is there for them forever. They forget that there will be a day in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will teach them a lesson. There will be a day of reckoning for all of them. My dear brothers and sisters, as I conclude, I would like to remind you of two things. Next Friday, we will be commemorating the birth of Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen, salamullahi alayhi. We will be having a huge celebration for his birth here at the Islamic Institute of America at 6 p.m. We have a very distinguished and prominent speaker, Reverend Wendell Anthony. He is the head of the NAACP. He will be speaking to our congregation. I appeal to you, my dear brothers and sisters, to participate, to attend, and to bring your friends, your associate, and your family members, and to honor the anniversary of Imam Ali alayhi salam by your attendance. Next Friday at 6 p.m. here at the Islamic Institute of America. رجاء لا تنسون أخواني، سنحتفل بذكرى ميلاد أمير المؤمنين الجمعة القادمة بإذن الله في الساعة 6 عصرا. Also, on May 11th at 6 p.m. we will be having our annual fundraising dinner, my dear brothers and sisters. As you know, this place has been playing a big role in the life of our community. And inshallah, I will talk about some of the achievements IIA has been able to achieve and to have within less than 1 year. We moved last year on April 1st, and it is not April yet. And alhamdulillah, we have so many projects going on. The Saturday school with over 180 students, Sunday school with over 160 students. We have Ma'had Tahfidh al-Quran, the Quran institution that teaches our kids to memorize the Quran with 50, 60 students. We have the Hawza, the very first Islamic English-speaking Hawza in the entire United States. Islamic training center for imams and preachers, Muslim preachers here being conducted at this place. So I urge you to mark that date, save that date, May 11th. Make sure you buy your tickets for yourself and for your family members. There is a table outside here. Once you leave the Salah, you can purchase your tickets, or you can go to the office and purchase your tickets from the secretary. I urge you, my dear brothers and sisters, and I commend you to buy your tickets and participate and show your support for your institution, the Islamic Institute of America. اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات تابع اللهم بيننا وبينهم بالخيرات إنك مجيب الدعوات إنك قاضي الحاجات إنك على كل شيء قدير وإلى أرواح المؤمنين والمؤمنات ولشفاء مرضانا وقضاء حوائجنا نقرأ السورة المباركة الفاتحة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر